Hello, my name is Mendy Gleiss. This year I've had the privilege to work with Miss Wisner and her first grade students at Shavey Road Elementary School in DeWitt. Miss Wisner is one of the most passionate teachers that I have ever had the privilege to work with. Her passion is evident through her students' achievements, and I feel that I have learned more from her 26 first graders than I ever imagined possible. Prior to TE 405, I recognized the importance of reading instruction in lower grades, but had not realized how influential writing instruction in lower grades could be. I thought students were learning to write letters, use their letter sound knowledge to form words, and working towards creating complete sentences. I never imagined that students would be creating opinion pieces, informational pieces, or even personal narratives. Now I believe that students, even in lower grades, need to engage in all stages of the writing cycle as it helps them to develop as readers and writers. Last Friday, I walked out of my field placement with 26 personalized letters. Each letter demonstrated so much personality. I was overwhelmed with my students' growth as writers in just 1 year, and I attribute this to their writing workshop. Over the course of this year, I've recognized that it is important to get to know your students on a personal level. Teachers can do this in many ways. Reading what their students write about in their free time and conferencing with students are two ways that I plan to develop relationships. Fletcher explains that teachers need to recognize that students often lack confidence when it comes to writing. Teachers should expect false starts, blank pages, misspellings, because failure is an integral part of how people learn. But teachers also need to build on their strengths, take notice, and celebrate a great word, sudden twist, or surprising image. In my future, I plan to make Writers Workshop a positive experience by providing my students with plenty of time to spread out around the room. I want my students to find their safe spot where they are able to bring their personalized writer's notebook and experiment with their writing as they develop their own personal writing voice that will carry them throughout their lives. During this time, I will play instrumental music in the background as I've found that it keeps students on track. Additionally, I will write because I think it is important that my students see that I appreciate writing and am still trying to develop as a writer today. As my students undergo each stage of the writing cycle, I think that it is important that they are provided with short, concise mini lessons that allow them to hone in and focus on a specific set of skills. In my future, my mini lessons will have an explicit writing goal, along with a mentor text and anchor chart that my students can refer back to throughout the year. An example of a writing goal that a student might work on for an opinion piece would read, "Good writers of opinion pieces use a variety of sentence starters to keep the reader interested and engaged. In your opinion writing piece, you can start your sentences in many different ways, like Karen Olaf and David Catrow and I Want a Iguana, to keep their readers interested." Throughout the school year, it is important to conference with students often. I expect this to look very different based on the student's grade and goals. Fletcher explains that writing workshops require responsive teaching, as teachers are often selecting topics for mini lessons tomorrow based on what they see in their students' work today. Miss Wisner did a great job conferencing with her students and recognizing students' individual strengths and areas of growth. Because of this, Miss Wisner and I were able to select a specific group of students to work on sentence starters. Along with conferencing, I plan to provide my students with time to share their work with their peers, as I believe that learning to give and receive constructive criticism is an essential part for students to grow as individuals and writers. Just like Ms. Wisner, I want to provide my students with something to work towards. I think that publishing is an essential part of the writing workshop because it motivates students and demonstrates the importance of revising and editing their work. TE 405 in Ms. Wisner's classroom have helped me to recognize how important it is for students to be explicitly taught a variety of writing skills as they undergo all portions of the writing process. Students need time to brainstorm, draft, revise, edit, and finally publish the writing in order to develop a passion and personal writing voice that will carry them throughout their lives.